Your favorite part. Banning.
It is in
Like
the
the heads
bag.
of my enemies.
This should be interesting.
This one is in the bag.
Hello people! So today we're analyzing a Archon 5, I believe, maybe less, I forget. We're analyzing our Storm Spirit gameplay, and this will be a live session, not a pre-recorded one, so you'll hear a lot of me stumbling and catching for words. And overall, since there's no script, I'll just go along with what I'm seeing on screen. So expect a lot of pauses. And well, that's it, let's begin.
It's almost time for everybody to die.
Well, first we can check out the picks after this fight. Not a big fight. From Storm's perspective, there's like two major, how do I say this, points in the game. First one is being standing in lane against Tinker, which usually ends bad for Storm, and the second one is late gamers anti-mage, which you have to be careful playing against. With the right regen, Storm stands well against Tinker, and this Storm right here should have actually picked up some how's it called? I forget. Iron branches, there we go, I forgot the word. Iron branches against Tinker lets Storm just have continuous regen as he fights for last hits at the levels. It completely negates Tinker's laser and right clicks. And as we can see here, Tinker has, I believe I saw him having a ward, let's check it out. Yes, he has a ward. So in this case, Storm could send himself immediate sentry and wait for Tinker to place his ward for an instant ward. Denying vision works really well against Tinker here, who can just push out with March and go for the runes. So far so good, Storm's got 2 last hits, hopefully he'll get a third one. Oh, that was a miss. I'm not gonna go over mechanical mistakes, since every player, depending on his bracket, will do some, I will do some, he will do some. No point obsessing over them. That was a good chase. That was a really good chase. I thought Storm was gonna die. And in this case, the Storm should have already salved on his way back. You don't want to be low HP against Tinker. So far, everything is about correct. One thing I haven't seen in this match is Storm pulling the creeps back, which should always be done if the creeps are on the enemy high ground, which in this case it's a lot of times here. See, we just missed the last hit on the range creep because he was on the high ground, and if the creeps were pulled, the lane equilibrium could have been reset in Storm's favor. Alright, we have battle now, which should be easier standing against Tinker. Even with the kill, Tinker isn't snowballing much, so it doesn't set back Storm that much. Levels are about the same, and Tinker has less mana now, so he's forced to play defensive or just go back, which he did. What's his mana pool? Yeah, he's forced to walk back, which is really bad. I even say in this trade, Storm got out better than the Tinker, since now Storm is free to push and take the runes. And looking at the network screen, Storm is also catching up really quick. Right now Tinker has full mana, and in this case Storm should send out like more regen, some selves, some more tangos, because Tinker will absolutely use every single cooldown available for the Storm. That was a really good harass, by the way. So Storm saw the opportunity and went for it. That's a really good trade for the player, noticing opportunities when the enemy's out of position. And yeah, I think laser is on cooldown. That was too aggressive, that's too aggressive, that's too aggressive. And that was too aggressive. So yeah, with the selves, Storm can continuously trade and just be more aggressive. I mean, Tinker uses laser, he's just standing there taking damage. And Storm, especially with the Arcane rune, can just dump on him continuously, and with the self, he would survive Storm. And still, even with the two deaths, Storm is at an advantage, because Tinker has to go back again, and Storm has free access to the runes. So far, early game is going really well for the Storm.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. This is the hardest part of being an impartial have been fortified, balancing how little I care about anything that's happening here.
And yeah, Tinker's again teleporting with the full mana, and Storm does not send out himself additional regen. This can be game losing, I mean lane losing. And in this situation, again, creeps could be pulled for a more appropriate locations for less hitting. See, and that's the difference between regen. If you send out regen only when you already need it, you're doing it wrong. You should always have regen pre-ready to use, in case you need it. And the player who can regen, who can use self first, can keep putting up pressure. There we go. That was a good anticipation. Tinker's wasting mana. Storm's almost 6. Tinker's already 6. So far, it's kind of an even matchup. Although Tinker's just winning by farm now because Storm didn't use enough regen to stay in the lane. But experience-wise, Storm is still good to go. At level 6, once Tinker uses laser, Storm can just go for the kill. Looking at the net worth map, not the map, net worth list, like 3 enemy players are at the top, and ours lagging behind. That's gonna be bad for the mid game for Storm. Okay, let's see how this goes. Good, good. Laser. Storm's using battle, that's really good. Should be a kill. Okay, that was beautiful, actually. Flawless execution. That's how I play Storm. You wait for the Tinker to use laser, then you just heal up while chasing him. I guess Tinker could have done a few hits, or just run. Actually, he had very little choice what to do, Tinker.
Double kill.
Double damage certainly helped here. Otherwise, Storm could have jumped from higher distance and waited with a vortex until Tinker has lasered to keep him in place. This one kill has set Storm on top of the net worth list, which is really good for Storm and really bad for Tinker. At this point, I myself would just place the ward and continuously keep Tinker killed once he shows in the lane.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
And on the Tinker side, he didn't level March, because I haven't seen it once. That's game losing for him, because Storm can just continuously kill him once the laser is down. And Tinker without March has no means to catch up in the jungle.
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
Clarity is up in between waves, that's really good. Good play. Tinker's still missing. Yeah, that ward would be really useful right now. I assume Tinker will just keep start leveling March now and try to catch up in the jungle now. Let's see what he's doing. Oh, he went to the other lane. Okay. In the case where enemy mid goes to other lanes to set up kills or something, we gotta think about what's his purpose. Like Tinker, if he goes and sets up kills, he's not playing Tinker, he's playing Queen of Pain or Lina or anything else. Tinker's job is to just get levels, get March, and just walk down lanes. By forcing Tinker to not be in the lane, to hunt in elsewhere, it's already a huge swing to the mid game in Storm's favor.
Dire's middle tower is being attacked.
One thing to note here, Storm is spending way too much time in the jungle with a free lane. He should have just continuously hit the tower with the waves.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire has fortified its structures. Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Let's see how anti-mage is doing. Well, judging from the net worth list, anti-mage is having quite a free lane as well, which is really bad for Storm. As long as anti-mage is not free farming, Storm can get enough items fast enough to, well, to avoid anti-mage in the lane. I mean, not in the lane, in the game. Against anti-mage, even if Storm wins mid, which in this game was the case, clearly, he cannot be aggressive because anti-mage can just teleport anywhere and use mana void during the mid game. Storm vs anti-mage thrives on dealing with 5 vs 5. Oh, let's see. Oh, that was a close call on anti-mage. What Storm has done here was not good, since Witch Doctor is terrible at locking down anti-mage. With the Tide's ultimate, this could have worked. Otherwise, as a Storm, you shouldn't waste mana on targets who can easily escape, especially not in the early game. Storm going Midas in this case is a good choice, since Tinker is down, he's not gonna be in the game anytime soon, and it will help keep equal farm with the anti-mage. So far, what I can say about mistakes is Storm is letting Tinker away way too much and chasing kills he shouldn't be chasing. Other than that, it's going fine. I'm gonna pause here for a second. So what happened here is Storm stood here and he saw the rockets charging at him, and he immediately pointed to the supports that this area is warded. And I don't know what's gonna happen next, but if the supports do not react in the warded spot, Storm itself should absolutely do it. It already pays for itself, enemy has less vision, it's a win-win situation. If you notice a ward spot, always try to do ward it yourself, if the supports don't do it. Let's return. Okay, that's good, that's a free kill.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
Let's also pause here. Or not, no need to pause. Anyway, what I meant to say is, against targets who are absolutely dead, it's okay not to use Vortex. In this case, Storm didn't, which is really good, since you never know when the next fight is breaking out and you might need Vortex then, like if Tinker decided to engage. Twitch was dead anyway without Vortex, so not using it was a good call. In this case, I wouldn't wait for full mana, I would just teleport right away, since they are really slow, really easy to kill. But Storm went for the wrong target. Without vision, Sand King can just disengage with exactly which is exactly what he did. Of course, he got greedy, and I think he will die here. But otherwise, just go for Pudge, who has no means to escape. Okay, that was beautiful. No comment here, just beautiful. Really good. Storm thrives on greediness of other heroes. Like, if they think they can kill Storm, they have no means to gauge his damage output. Oftentimes in my earlier games, when I was lower MMR, people would just go for the kills, which just had no chance of happening. And we can abuse that as Storm players. Like, with the Remnant and Overlord hit, that's like 300, 400 damage in one hit on players who think they can kill Storm in 1 second. It always turns around.
Whoa, what'd I miss?
Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
Let's pause again. For the supports who are playing with Storms, there was a ward here, I think. If you're a support player warding mid, please do few extra steps and just ward so that the Storm can see the rune. It really helps. Carrying on.
Killing spree.
Once Storm gets Harkin rune, he should always seek out fights, since that thing is goddamn godlike.
Double kill.
It looks like Tinker just gave up.
Dire's top tower is being attacked.
So at the moment, Storm's team is definitely leading the fights, but anti-mage is kind of free farming, and he will be able to close the game if he gets enough farm. I would say if not for anti-mage pick, this game probably would have been a victory. I know this game will be a loss.
Dire's top tower is under attack. You're allowed
Once something like this happens, just try to get anti-mage with right clicks and overloads. Don't get into his face, don't allow him to right click yourself. But you can, as a Storm, you have superior right click damage. Not sure what happened, but I liked it. And always watch your mana during the fights. If you have nothing, just bail, since you can do things with just right clicks against heroes who can use spells. Can guys on the stream tell me if they're hearing my voice fine? So far I had no responses.
middle tower has been destroyed. Radiant has fortified its structures. Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked.
And yeah, if you're a Storm using Midas, just make sure to keep an eye on it and always use it on the first available creep, which usually will prioritized by big jungle creep, and then the ranged creep, catapult, and only then the small creep or the melee creep. Let's pause here. When you are dead, you can always seek out. You can always seek out future kills. Like in this case, Shadow Shaman was really close to the tower. Storm could have just teleported somewhere behind the trees or even in front of the trees and just use his ultimate to engage, and the team can follow up. When you're dead, always check out all 3 lanes and try to scan if there's any available targets to kill. In this case, this was a missed kill. Moving on.
Radiant's bottom tower is being attacked, so there's that.
So far, Storm, even with all the minor misplays, is still sitting in the top place. And in this case, if the Storm is snowballing, the team should absolutely push towers, which I don't see is happening, but I suppose that's just a trend in low MMRs. With this much farm, Storm can just lead the game and anti-mage would never come online. Even now, anti-mage is really weak, just level 10 with no items.
Radiant's bottom tower is under siege.
Storm's farming enemies out of the jungle, which should always be the case, that's really good. It's denying farm for anti-mage. From what I can see on the map is everyone is just playing really passively except for Storm. Storm's like the only player here doing what he's supposed to do, pushing and being aggressive with the enemies on the enemy side of the map. We have Rubik and Witch Doctor. I have no idea what they're doing. They seem to be defending already fallen bottom tower. Not sure why. Just in this case, if Storm is ahead, please just group with him, make some plays. And these guys don't even have vision to work against Sand King.
Wait for it. Wait for it.
If I had to judge right now, Storm's team is the reason this game is probably losing. That might change in the future, but for now, the team is way too passive. Storm is doing good. Okay, that might be a misplay since Storm stepped in with really low mana, so if Tinker just lasers, he can just ultimate out. But Tinker didn't seem to do that, so great for Storm. But this was a risky play, I wouldn't have done it. It has a really low chance of paying off.
Middle tower is under siege. Dire's top tower is under siege. Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
Teleporting out after the fight is also a really good thing to do,
Radiant's middle tower has been destroyed.
since it resets your teleport cooldown and gets you full mana faster.
Here I am.
In this fight, Storm didn't use regular zaps to proc overload, which would have killed Pudge faster and kept Storm alive. So that was a minor mistake.
Tower is under attack. I only mention it as a conversation starter. How are you doing otherwise?
Look how passive the game is. We have vision. This team has vision on our side of the map, but the enemy isn't really doing anything. It's just split pushing, which is once again bad for the team since the enemy isn't aggressive. You should be aggressive. Someone should be aggressive. Right now it's just people farming. Neither side is pushing.
'Tis mine.
It's actually a great environment for Storm. Usually, but not against anti-mage. Not against anti-mage.
Puddin' pop.
And again, Storm didn't check all the lanes before respawning to see any possible kills he might be having. Like Tinker is in the middle, he could have died. Could have killed Tinker. Can kill Pudge here, absolutely can kill Pudge. He's alone. He's focused on the catapult, he's not gonna move. He even stays there. Just take the jump, man. Just take the jump. As we can see, Storm is buying himself sentries and dusts. That's really good as well. If you see opportunities for solo pickoffs, you should absolutely do this. Okay, that was good, that was good. This is not as preferable as when Pudge was focused on the lane. If the target is walking, Storm has a harder time catching up since he has to do a bigger jump, which in earlier levels wastes almost all mana. But since CK was there to save the day, it worked out.
Radiant's top tower is being attacked.
Oh cool, they have the Storm player in the stream chat. Say hi, Storm player. What we saw here was anti-mage in the... Oh, it's still happening.
Radiant's top tower is under siege.
If Storm sees anti-mage in close proximity, he should always be careful about engagements, since anti-mage can just blink in and change the course of the team fight in just one click with the ultimate. Oh wow, that Glimmer Cape saved the day for Storm. I gotta say, the players in this bracket are doing really well as an individual. Like, they know what to do at any particular moment, but they have trouble pinpointing their next step on the map, like as a whole game plan thing. Like, they're doing well in team fights, but they have no idea, should they push now, should they split now, and look what's happening, they're all returning to the jungle. All the towers except for the mid tower, thanks to Storm, is still standing. Like, after this team fight, two heroes died, they could just continuously 5-man march to the top and took the tower. I just realized anti-mage and Storm, in this game they want the same thing. They want the game to get static, so they can utilize their farming capabilities, or in Storm's case, pick off capabilities, and get fat. Except Storm, a fat anti-mage counters a fat Storm. So ultimately Storm loses. We got some nice little banter in the old chat. Probably CK is trying to be intimidating. Okay, that was a good moment as well. Storm saw some creeps on their tower. He realized that they were going to die. He's gonna miss some last hits, so he zipped in. That was a good play. Pudge alone cannot kill Storm, so I would just walk some zigzags, took the creep with the Midas, and then walked out. But since they have no vision, enemies could have been more than just Pudge, so it was kind of okay play. Could have went both ways. Let's pause here as well. What just happened here was also a really good play on Storm's side. Like, what he did was initiate on Pudge, and then just drop everything and walk back. This is really good since we don't know what's happening. Enemy players might get a drop. CK is really fat right now, he has a lot of health, CK can tank whatever ambushes happen, and Storm should always engage and then just fall back, reassess the situation, and then re-engage as well on the new targets. This is exactly what the Storm is doing, that's really good. Let's move on, let's continue. If Storm stood in the same place, he would have been ambushed by Sand King and the Shadow Shaman probably have died. But in this case, it's a one-team fight. One thing to note, although Storm has full mana and is not really using it efficiently, Storm with full mana and no HP can just continuously zip around throwing remnants and still contribute. Especially since anti-mage would not do anything to a full mana Storm. Okay, that was beautiful. He saw Tinker, he went for it. That's probably a kill. Although I did... yeah. Teleport is on cooldown. If you see Tinker with the Ghost Captor, just zip into him. This will damage him and his blink will be on cooldown. Oh, missed. There we go, beautiful. Oh, no, anti-mage. And that's anti-mage in a nutshell. He will wait for the Storm to finish the fight, and he will ultimate. And Storm's dead. Not much to say here. It's been 15 minutes since I first talked about pushing and the tower still stand and no one is pushing. This really kind of pisses me off. How can you not push in a game of Dota? It's not a farming simulator, come on. Just push, guys, just push. CK with just a few bracelets is already like miles stronger than any other carry in the early game. He should capitalize on that and just go fight with the ultimate or something. But nope, he just farms like a farming hero, and that's not CK. That's not how CK plays. Tinker has I think actually Tinker's not even in the game, honestly. So that's playing 4 versus 5 on the Dire team. That's good. Zip in. Midas the most valuable target. That's good. And finally the enemy team is pushing. Like, well, one team from this game is pushing at least. Again, Storm is playing really well here. He saw an empty lane, he went for it, went for the tower. He can disengage easily.
Over here.
As we can see from the map, Storm is going toe-to-toe with the anti-mage with the farm. The Midas helps, and the passiveness of the enemy team also helps. Like, with a better team, Storm could have ended the game already. And yes, I will upload this session to YouTube. If you're a Storm zipping on anti-mage, make sure to immediately cast Vortex as you're zipping, otherwise anti-mage will just reflexively pop his shield and mess up your engagement. Which is exactly what happened here. And if you're a Storm killing Pudge, make sure every hit is overloaded, otherwise it's way too easy for Pudge to deny himself. And it's up to luck in that case. It already happened a few times in this game where Pudge could have just continuously routed and denied because Storm did not overload his hits onto him.
Radiant's middle tower is under siege.
Even level by Storm is ahead.
Double damage.
Ho-ho! Zap.
Okay, since we have established that Storm's team is holding the game down by being so goddamn passive, it even hurts me to say that. Let's try to analyze what Storm could do to help the team now. I guess Storm could ask for wards from the supports and just ward some, like, spare 50% of division wards, placing them onto the enemy sides of the map and just continuously split push, like play like anti-mage as a Storm. Since both teams are kind of passive right now, like Storm could place his wards onto the spots where Tinker teleports. Let me show you. Like, here's a little cliff, which you can place the ward and you will see the lane, you will see the Tinker lane. Storm split pushing would force Tinker to be here sometime in the game, teleport in the trees and just die from Storm. And Storm with the teleport can just teleport wherever the fight is happening and continuously put up pressure on all sides of the map.
Zip zap. Haste.
I think that would be the best case, since split the pushing Storm not only will create space for the team but also kill Tinker often at any stage of the game. In this case, Storm is just deep pushing whatever is coming into the map, which is not enough. Also, if you're facing a hero who has like a lot of HP and cannot be killed in like 5 seconds, always save your vortex if the killing hero is trying to teleport away to interrupt it. You know what? I don't think I ever saw a single Tide's ultimate in this game. Maybe because I wasn't watching him, but it seems like in the crucial fights, Tide is never there. Or there's just no crucial fights, I'm not sure.
Dire's bottom tower has fallen.
Like, Tide's really good at tanking anti-mage here. He could be the backbone of initiation along with Storm. This would help with the team fights immensely, but it's just not happening. And as a Storm, if the enemy is finally grouped up, just forget about jungle. Push the waves. Jungle can wait. The waves are always more important. They give more. They depush. They create space. Like the fight just happened on the bottom, which took like a lot of Radiant heroes and a lot of Dire heroes. Storm could have just went top middle and did some good pushing. Maybe take a tower down or two. Oh, we do have a Tinker Ward in the bottom. That's good. That's good. Okay, beautiful. Good play. Good play. This was a mistake, since he jumped in front of the anti-mage, who could have just ultimated. Luckily, anti-mage is kind of slow with response time, so he didn't see Storm jumping and wasted his ultimate on someone else. Yet, Pudge was there and the fight was lost. So if you're a Storm who just killed someone and are now low on mana, always check your map for the anti-mage where his location is. And do not engage if he's in close proximity. That can be game losing. Why? Tide, why? Why would you do this, Tide? This is also game losing. So yeah, if I had to recap the game, what Storm's team did wrong is play way too passively with their heroes. They could have just ended the game in 20 minutes. And what Storm did wrong is by the mid to late game, he also played way too passively with the pushing. He was in the jungle too much. I would even say he didn't participate in the fights enough, but the fights were really like sparse. I'm not sure what the word is. So that's not really the case. I do have in my future playlists a video where I'm playing against anti-mage. I plan to do this like advanced guide how to play against anti-mage in the future. Show how to play around him.
Radiant's top tower is under attack, if that's something you cared about.
Okay, that's good. Just isolate solo targets, try to pick them off. Make space. Ooh, Storm's building BKB, which I would say... Oh, he's not building BKB. Good. He's making Sange, which is not good. Sange doesn't work here because Storm is not the one to man fight. Sange gives like health and shortens the disabled time on Storm. But Storm is... In this game, Storm is a pick offer. There's a lot of squishy supports. There's a Tinker. It's easy to pick someone off, so Sange in no way improves Storm's fighting capabilities here. Just go for Kaya and Yasha, which helps isolate and kill certain targets. There was like a void, maybe, I would suggest Sange, but in this case it wasn't useful at all.
I'll take your tribute.
Over here now.
Yeah, that's how Storm plays. He finds targets, isolates them, picks them off, and returns. And Sange does not improve that at all, one bit. In my, I think the best case scenario in this moment would just go for Orchid. Not for the anti-mage, but you can disable Pudge's ultimate. You can prevent lots of things Tinker can do. Sand King itself, Orchid works really well here.
Tis mine.
Okay, not good. Storm has jumped from the base all the way here, which leaves him with like very little mana. Anti-mage can just jump in, ultimate him, get 2-3 kills. If you're Storm initiating a team fight against anti-mage, just use your teleport and try to start from a smaller range so you have more mana to work with. Big jumps against anti-mage is only applicable when you know he's not here on the side of the map or he's dead. Otherwise, Storm has to limit his jump ranges.
Unstoppable!
I have no idea what their game plan was. Get a kill, bail, and use teleport. Just use the teleport. In this case, what could have happened? Let's rewind. What Storm should have done. Like, we still have a lot of mana left. What we could have done is ultimated somewhere with the different height sizes, like I cannot ping here, like at this point in the camera, where the camera is pointing, or at this point, and to use the teleportation while ulting. This immediately disengages Storm from the fight, gets him back to full mana from the fountain, and can let him seek out new targets. Now, what this Storm is doing is not as efficient. I mean, he still ran away, but some time was wasted doing that. The safest way to disengage after pick off against anti-mage is just find the nearest cliff and do a unpredicted zip zap with a teleport.
Let the fun begin. Puddin' pop.
Even looking at the score, it's quite even. I would say with the proper Tides ultimate, you know, like the items on both teams are really even. With the proper Tides ultimate, a normal team fight could happen. This Radiant can absolutely crush Dire if CK focuses anti-mage while Storm picks off Tinkers, Shadow Shamans, who are still very weak.
Where's the party?
But again, the proper team fight never happened. I never saw it in this game. It's just been stupid pickoffs from the enemy team and AFK farming from rest of the players. Like with a CK with a Tide, you have perfect initiation, or counter initiation if you say so. That's a bad position to be in. Storm should initiate just as he did, but then like take a sidestep in case someone jumped him. Like if Shadow Shaman had blink, if Sand King had blink, they could have just counter initiated it, and with anti-mage just deleted Storm in a second. That was a risky play.
Over here now. Over here. Oh, what I missed. Let the fun begin. Ha!
Okay, that's smart. Use up your mana, go for refill. That works.
Over here. I'm over here.
Yeah, that's the worst moments in Storm, like when you isolate the target and an anti-mage can just catch you.
Structures have been fortified.
And this ends the game.
Radiant's middle barracks is being
So yeah, conclusion is Storm's team did not capitalize on early game advantage, did not push early. In theory, Storm's team would absolutely won the game since they're much stronger earlier.
Radiant's middle
but the proper team fights never happened, the aggression never happened. And while Storm did make some mistakes, it's ultimately on the team.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. Radiant's middle tower is being attacked.
What's CK doing? Does he? I have no comment actually. Okay, I guess this ends the session, and if anyone wants to have a replay analysis like this, just contact me, we can arrange something. And I'll see you guys later. Cheers.
Radiant's